Clownie Nerf.
So after you've had this thing set up and made and you get it all polished out so your barrels fit through, the next step is going to be to make your actual barrels. Enough 17/32 brass to get two. Take your average Nerf dart and you're just going to take this and lay it right up against, so the head is, I like to make mine flush with the darts themselves, so it's flush, and then you're going to strike a line at the end of your dart on the brass, and that's going to give you the length of your barrel for the dart to sit in and go into fine. Your next thing is going to be take the dart head, and you're going to line that up with the edge of the dart, with the edge of the line you just did, and then strike a line. And then you're going to do that again. Now, what this does is a couple of things. One, you have plenty of space to seat any length of dart pretty much in there that you really need to do, that you can seat in. And if you want to, you can shotgun barrel it, but it doesn't work so well for shotgun barreling, I'll tell you that. This way you get a nice flush fit with your darts, and there's not going to be any problem. Now, it does create dead space, but a blaster is about fun, and frankly, there's a lot of dead space in it, which was how it got its name in the first place. Your dart head, I used AccuStrike one because I like them. I only have a few. Waffle heads ones would work, as long as it's something that's buffy, that's good and has holes in it, like Z's or Waffles, because they're going to glue this into the end for an end cap, and that's going to go in here, like that, right down sitting there. So when you line your darts up, you have that space in between, and that's where your vinyl hosing is going to drop down right here. That way you have plenty of space to keep the hose for free and being jammed up, and it'll still give you plenty of airflow in order to push it out. So you're going to cut two barrels at this entire length, from the back line down here, which is this one here, to the front. Two barrels like that, and then we'll proceed from there. Okay, so after you've got your two barrels cut, there we go, you're going to grab your copper for the purposes of this way I'm building this, and this is just going to add robustness to the back of it as well as a neat little look. And you're just going to add that to the back here like this and measure off basically two dart lengths, dart heads worth of space if you want to, or you can simply, like I said, just line that up here, line that up here, and then you're going to cut it just about like this right here, and you're going to cut two of these off, and that's going to give you something to have on the back of your blaster that's going to look a little nicer and give you some more spot, because we're going to have to do a little work to make sure everything sits tight. Okay, more fun time, playtime, fun time. After you've got your two barrels cut and sanded and get the edges flared out a little bit so you can get a nice fit down in, up to where you're going to put them in, just so you can flare, because when they're not flared out like this end, it's kind of a pain in the ass to get them to go down in there. Then you get your two barrels and your two hunks of copper, and it's going to go like that, and then you're going to take this sucker, your dart head, and you're going to glue this in the back of here. Be mindful which side was out and which side was not. I actually anal retentive enough that the mold lines kind of need to line up one way. So grab yourself your favorite epoxy, and you're going to mix up a whole lot. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be a mess, because this crap doesn't like to glue to this, and there is a bit of extra space, so I'm not sure if a bit of electrical tape would help solve that, but I wouldn't know, because unfortunately the one electrical, nope, there it is. So we're going to find out right now how much difference that's actually going to make, because there's a secondary hold on there because, as I was told once by a very smart friend of mine, never trust an adhesive. Just going to go slightly back from the end there and give it a nice little wrap around once. Grab your favorite razor blade or sharpening instrument of massive destruction, or at least something that's not allowed on the airplane, and you're going to give it a cut right at the line that's showing up on the thing. So you have one complete and wonderful wrap around, and that should, in theory, make that a little tighter, which, you know what, there we go, makes it a little tighter. So you're still going to glue it on there because you're going to have to, but that is an option. I'm not going to do that because I want more glue in there than that, so that won't happen for me. But if you want to, you can go right ahead. I just wouldn't do it. Back after we got the barrels assembled and the caps put in the back of them, we now join our heroes gluing dart heads together, or barrels together. So after you've glued your barrel in there, and yeah, I did use a small piece of E-tape just to kind of give it tightening because it kept sliding back and forth because the fit was too much, but the full wrap I didn't use, so I went about a quarter way around. You're going to take your dart head and then you're going to glue that in here. Keep turning it a little bit as it's going as your glue sets because it's going to want to pool. As it squishes out, just move it around the back, whoop, licky licky, of the blast of the barrel here to smooth down the edges. And be careful while doing this kind of stuff because, frankly, brass and copper are sharp. And you're going to leave this sit to dry out and cure up on the whatever cure time you have. I mean, if you get the 3 to 5 minute epoxy, that's good. If you have the overnight stuff, don't know why you would, but if you do, use that. But let it cure up and dry before you start messing around with it. So I'm going to give this thing probably about a good hour sitting next to my heater as it goes dry, and I'm going to go wash the epoxy off my arm because I just put my arm in the puddle. Hey, yep, worried about knives, glue hand to table. Good. Okay, so these are once again all cleaned up. Well, not cleaned up because we're not quite done with that yet. They're flared out, ready to go. For the most part, completely dry, still tacky, but they're going to be serviceable. Now, you're going to have to drill a hole in the top of these things, which was my drill, so you can get your vinyl hosing in. So I find it best to work up to the diameter that you need. Now you're going to drill your hole smaller, actually a little smaller than that, because tension is going to be what holds these things in, which is actually pretty good for vinyl hose. It works out fine. You're not dealing with a lot of really high pressure, or you could add some glue on the outside of it. Now, like I said, you're going to only drill like a pilot size hole here first, so find a small drill bit. Advisably, you should probably do this in a vise or something along that nature, but seeing as how I don't have one, this will have to suffice. Grab yourself, I can't find it, good, grab yourself, there's a way to mark it, take your marker and do so. God, I sound like John Cleese. Make me nuts if I don't find the center of the dart. Now you're going to aim for the center of the copper, right on the top. Just make a mark, what looks to be about center. And that's where you're going to drop your first hole. Like I said, you should probably do this in a vise. I don't have one. Just if you screw it in, be very gingerly to do it because it is copper and brass, and that stuff usually tinks. It bends easy. I'm actually going to scar this. Dang it. We'll have to buff that out. I'm going to make a little pink on here instead. So I have a starting point, and then we're going to drill away slowly. It'll take a bit. Damn it. This is why you should have a vise. It's gonna slam pretty hard, apparently, to the other side. I'm not even sure if I got any of that on camera. So that's your hole, and then you're going to make it successively larger. And my battery's going to die on my camera now, so now I'm going to have to charge that. Alright, now you've gotten your holes drilled through, and I've cleaned mine up. As you can see, you get the burrs off them. And it's a good tight fit for the vinyl cord. Vinyl hose. Not exceedingly tight, pretty loose. I think I finished out the bit size on a 15/64 was the final size. Brought in there. There will be a little bit of glue going around the top to help hold the seal in for them. And what you're going to do now is just take these and put these to the side for the moment, because we're going back to the blaster. So back to the plunger tube. This is now sealed completely, so you are not getting any air out of this unless you direct it to do so. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put some holes in here. So find the bottom of your plunger tube, which is preferably this way. It adds in with that part. You're going to just stand it on end, and you're going to put 2 dots in here. Now, that's where this cut's going to come in. You want to make sure you get them far enough back that your screw post, you can pass them down in here, and they're going to come through. Your hoses are going to go down through here, this gap here between the screw post and the lighted one, which is, we'll just do this so it shows up on camera better, and then they're going to feed back down and come out here. This area will end up being cut out of the way as well, but for now, just mark your spots, and you're going to put 2 in on the bottom. So stand her up and find the bottom, put in 1 hole and 1 hole on the other side. And remember, you're going to have to make these wide enough for the vinyl tubing, so you want to make sure you have a far enough apart that they're not going to try to break into each other and mess it up. So once we've drilled these holes, we'll be back, and we're getting probably about halfway there. Alright, so now you've made a creepy looking statue. Drop your parts back together, take your barrels and slide them through, or at least one through the other way. Do this, take them out, slide that through, fit, do another one. Now these will be secured later with a little bit of glue, maybe, and other parts. So now you got this. Okay, take your vinyl tube, and you're gonna just do a rough measure from one end here to the other. Always cut a little longer than you think you need. So I'm just going to do from the bottom of the brass across the longest point up to here, which was right about here. Just cut off a hunk. And then go back and feed this into the bottom one. We're going to do the bottom one first. If I can show you. In fact, just to be deliberate here, I'm going to cut this at a slight angle. A little hunk off. It'll help feed it, and it will give it a better airflow if it gets bumped up against something. So, now when these go through, this one's going to go underneath this whole board assembly like this and go in. So that would go under here, and that's going to get pinched down underneath this. But there's a small problem. Matter of the I put it in the wrong hole here. Cross feed it. Now they'll all get sealed in with glue. We're just fitting. Make sure you keep fitting. The more you fit, the less your mods will look bad or like something that rhymes with fit. So, it goes under. You need to be able to get to it though. We got this little board and everything on top right here, like this. It's going to go down here, so we're going to have to remove a section of the shell just short of this third white ridge line. 1, 2, 3. Cut your shell across the white ridge line here, like that, and then you're going to cut along the edge of your out here. Now I'm going to try and cut it from the white line to the second one, so it has this nice little edge here like this. We'll still roll around over, which will be good. So I'm going to try pretty much just removing this here to here, this section right here, like this, that guy there, up to the rolling point on this side of the roll. So it'll roll under and we'll have a little edge right just behind the main edge. Hopefully that'll fit. I'm about to find out because I don't remember what I did the first time. Okay, so the hosing fits right down through the hole that you cut, and of course you're going to do that on the other side to match. Now here's where it gets a little iffy, because you have to go against your basic instincts on things, and you're going to, when you screw this down, it's going to pinch the living hell out of the hose on this side. But it doesn't make too much of a difference. The vinyl hose is pretty good. And there's still lots of extra space just for the air to go through. So it's really not a big deal. It just feels wrong to be doing. So that will be your fit for this. And both of them will go down. Now the only other thing that I did that I didn't show was I did cut this at a pretty severe angle. So when it goes in here, it goes all the way down to the back, bottom of the brass, and then it'll fit and leave a little gap for it to be there. I'm going to get busy on the other side and get that one wired in, or plumbed in, I guess, and then we'll be back working on some of the final steps of this. So one thing I forgot to do before I did all that was turn around and tap this. This may not be necessary. I'm pretty sure the glue and stuff will hold, but I never trust an adhesive thoroughly, and if I have the opportunity to do so, I will drill and screw in a hole. So that's what this is. It's just to help the ring stay on in case it starts to slide. Plus it kind of looks kind of cool, and it will help the end cap, aka dart head, to stick in place itself. The only thing that's really left to do is upgrade the catch and the assembly, and we'll do a quick, main spring, and that will pretty much be that. Because there's not a whole lot after that goes through. Okay, so after trial and getting this whole thing assembled, you're pretty much good to go. You get your barrels and stuff put in, all your hoses and plumbing piped up. It's really not much after is left. The only thing that's going to suck is that your barrels are now kind of loose on the bottom here, and you have exposed brass. So you fix that. Unfortunately, I grabbed a long shot front gun, and this faux barrel is just too wide, so that won't work out. But this is leftovers from a Recon or Retaliator, Rampage or something. Yeah, I think it's a Rampage. This is what you're going to pretty much do, and this is what's going to hold tension to keep these from sliding backwards and cover this sharp exposed brass. You're just going to cut a section that's long enough to go over it. Really simple. It's pretty much all it is. And you just glue it in place, and that's almost the entirety of this mod here. And next time we come back, we'll show you what I got here and what's up and done. Now if you get the brass cut, just glue it on. And that's it, guys. Pretty much it. Well, and after you've got your barrels glued on, that's all she wrote right there. One completed dead space. Well, you guys like me doing these little revisits and rebuilds like this, let me know, because there's a couple other things I can keep working on. It gives me more ideas for, well, videos. Keep them up there, because stuff does get a little thin after a while, because you notice I don't do a whole lot of reviews because I'm poor and I don't have that kind of money. So, let me know what you guys think about that. And as always, Clownie's watching. Peace.